Hi guys, I am back. So it has been a while since I last posted a video. Um, I just landed up getting back to work, and so when I got back to work, I just got back in the swing of things. Being full-time mom right now, I am taking care of my parents. Um, and just, being a full-time parent, spending time with my boyfriend, having a full-time job. So things kind of just happen. So I definitely kind of just got lost as far as my YouTube, but I definitely wanted to reach back out to you guys because I did get a couple comments and some views. So, people are watching the video and hopefully finding some kind of relief or, able to find some kind of comfort knowing that they're not alone, which was my main goal. Is I just, that's the big thing for me is I love the feeling of knowing that I'm not alone and I have a community and I have support out there and I have people that are not only willing to talk with me, but just really, compare and contrast some of the things that we experience. So I definitely wanted to make a video, even if it's just a quick video. I know videos that don't have any fancy music or cool editing, which hopefully one day I'll be able to get more into, but my videos are going to be more basic. So I just wanted to make a quick little video and not take too much time because I know that those can get boring after a while, just staring and listening to somebody talk. So today in this video, in my last video, I kind of just went from diagnosis all the way to surgery and kind of just gave you guys like a quick rundown, but I really wanted to touch base on Graves this video. There's so many symptoms, even still till this day, talking in some support groups, there's a lot of symptoms that people experience that I never experienced and vice versa. And like I said, my endo did advise me that your thyroid controls so much of your body and things that you think wouldn't even be in relation to the disease is the reason why you're feeling the symptom or the reason why you're experiencing an issue. So I'm just going to kind of run through my symptoms and touch base on them. I'll try to do it as quickly as possible. So one of the main things was weight loss. And I know for most women, being able to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and how much ever you want sounds amazing. But after a few months, the thought of that wore off quickly because obviously you're just eating so much and it's going right through you. So even though I was dropping so much weight and getting so many compliments and being able to fit into whatever I wanted, I didn't look healthy. And looking back at pictures, and seeing myself, I'm surprised people didn't ask me if I had a terminal illness because I looked horrible. I looked skinny, but I looked horrible. And it's so crazy to now look back at that and not even realize I looked that way. But I looked how I felt. I think I went from a size 14 to a size 4 in less than a year. So it was a very traumatic weight loss and kind of scary. Kind of scary. Which kind of leads me into my next symptom, which was diarrhea. Again, this goes hand in hand with the weight loss. Whatever you're putting in your body, it's metabolizing so quickly, it's going out the other end before you can even blink. I remember there was times where I'd be out eating and I'd have to get up 3 or 4 times. I'd have to carry Pepto wherever I went. I had to be very careful with fast food, especially if it was greasy, if it was spicy. If I was going out on a date, I would not eat hours before, and then I would try to not go on dates that involved eating. Let's go to a movie, let's go shoot some pool. Like, I avoided eating around anybody that I felt uncomfortable around, going to the bathroom or having flatulence or anything like that. So if you're experiencing frequent diarrhea, traumatic weight loss, those are total normal symptoms of the thyroid disease. And I know once I started my medicine, those subsided really quick. Another big thing for me was insomnia and anxiety. Now, I've always suffered with anxiety and insomnia my whole life. It runs in my family. Mental illness kind of runs in my family as well. I have a sister with, a bipolar disorder, so it's not uncommon to have anxiety in my family, to say the least. So I've struggled with it my whole life. But when I went into Graves, or, my thyroid started overproducing, my anxiety was so bad to the point where I almost felt like in a daze. And I think therapists or doctors call it depersonalization. It kind of feels like you're in this fog and kind of just like you feel out of the norm. And still to this day, I still experience that. Like when I'm in high stress situations or I have super anxiety, I feel very out of it, kind of like I took too much allergy medicine, kind of like a little drunk. Things are what they are, but they don't feel right. It's hard to explain. But my anxiety was horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It was hard for me to drive on freeways. It was hard for me to be even at a stoplight. It was hard for me to sleep in the dark. Just horrible anxiety. Like, I think that was one of the things that I was so glad got toned down when I started my methimazole, because that really started to affect my life and how I handled high stress situations and how I performed at my job. Because my job, we had to meet certain quotas and we had to have quality. So I was on write-ups because I was making errors. I was missing work all the time because some days I just couldn't go in because my anxiety was just too much, and I couldn't stand being in an office for 8 to 9 hours when all I wanted to do was just run out of my chair, run out of the building, and take a shot of something, because I was just always anxiety filled, anxiety ridden. And I just really can't even explain how different Graves anxiety is versus normal anxiety, or like, it's on a whole nother level. And if you experience this anxiety, if you've already been diagnosed, and you know what I mean, like it is a different beast for sure. So that is definitely something I can relate to. So another one on my list was insomnia. So the insomnia, it was hard for me to sleep. I just was never tired, but I physically I was tired, but I think because I was just on so much hormone, my thyroid was producing so much hormone, like even when I was tired, I wasn't tired. And the thing is that without sleep, like, you can't function properly. Like, for me, when I'm on zero sleep, like, I'm not at my best. So when I don't get enough sleep, it kind of goes into my anxiety, and I feel stressed out. I feel like I need to leave, and I feel like I need to rest and get away from my everyday responsibilities. So I think I could probably go like maybe on 4 hours of sleep. I was able to get, but it was hard to sleep because I was also having heart palpitations. For me, when I lay down and I can feel my heartbeat, or I can hear my heartbeat, I'm not sleeping. So I think that kind of contributed to my insomnia, because sometimes my heart would beat so fast at nighttime like that's not it, like I could tell it wasn't a good resting heartbeat, and it was really scary. But like back then, before I got diagnosed, I didn't know what that was, so I kind of just like chalked it up to like anxiety, like, oh, my heart's beating fast because I have anxiety, and um it's scary to know now what I know now. Like, I think it's called tachycardia. um I could have experienced that, or I could have had that and landed up in the hospital. So it's really scary to think all those nights that I laid there with my heart beating so fast, it could have really turned into something bad. So that is why, if you are diagnosed with Graves, your doctor will most likely put you on a beta blocker. My doctor put me on a Tenolol. It's just a beta blocker to protect your heart, for heart palpitations, and kind of, I guess, keep your blood pressure down, or kind of regulate your blood pressure more. So, but again, heart palpitations for me was also when I would wake up from sleeping. It wasn't when I was just trying to go to sleep. It was also when I was trying to go to sleep, or wake up from sleep. I remember I'd wake up from naps and my heart would be beating so fast, I sometimes thought it was gonna explode. Like, it was really, really, really scary. Another thing I experienced was hand tremors. So, I had really bad shaky hands, to the point where it was, I don't even know how I put on makeup, how I did eyeliner, how I did anything um, with any kind of precision, because my hands would shake so much. I remember one time I forgot what I was doing. I think I was trying to like draw something or write something, and my hand was shaking so bad. My friend had made a joke and was like, she's like, do you got that Michael J. Fox or something like that, in reference to the Parkinson's disease? And I was like, you can tell, you can notice that? She was like, yeah. She's like, you're shaking. So, that was something that I'll never forget. As her noticing that my hands were shaking, just by doing something simple like trying to write or draw a picture. So that is, again, totally normal. That didn't start happening towards the very end. It wasn't something that was immediate. So if you have hand tremors and all of these other symptoms that I'm going through, you're most likely have been having this issue, probably having this issue for a long time, because it doesn't happen overnight. And then, so I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my list. So, oh, another one was floaters. Now, I had no idea what floaters were prior to having Graves' disease. I remember one morning I woke up early, took a shower, and I saw like this like, it was kind of like a squiggle line, like a translucent squiggle line, like going across my eye, and I started freaking out, and I was like rubbing my eye and like, oh my god, like what's going on, like I'm losing vision. And I remember I went to work and I was telling my friend, like, yeah, I see like this like little worm looking thing like going across my vision, and I'm like, it's really weird. And she's like, oh, that sounds like a floater. And she's like, it happens sometimes. I think she said it was like just like a loose cell or something, and it just, it's harmless. It's just like a loose, I don't know what she was saying, but she was like, yeah, don't worry, it's a floater, it happens to everybody and all that. But her not knowing I had Graves' disease and me not knowing I had Graves' disease, that is also a common symptom, because the thyroid is part of the endocrine system, so that affects the vision as well. And we'll go more into details about how well you have to take care of your eyes and things you have to look for in your eyes. 1 second. Sorry, I just don't want to be interrupted. So if you experience floaters, that is totally normal. And I did have some hair loss, but I think that might have been also to stress or I haven't really gone into depth about if hair loss is related to being hyper. I know I hear a lot about hair loss with hypo. So if you guys maybe want to comment on that and talk about that, we can get more into that in the comments. Kind of start a dialogue in the comments. So yeah, I can even see it right here. Just like that circle, I was losing hair. So if you do have hair loss and you're experiencing all these symptoms and you have been diagnosed, don't worry. Like, once you get on your medicine, you get things regulated, you take vitamins and supplements like biotin and stuff, that can help with that as well. But I wasn't too worried, because when I got back on my medicine, that bald spot right here had cleared up. But that kind of is just like my problem area anyways, especially when I'm stressed out. Okay, and then last but not least was sensitivity to heat. I would get hot really quick, and when I got hot, it was horrible. Like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm so sensitive to this heat. I remember I was standing in line, and for my dog to be seen by this vet, and it was a long line because it was kind of like a promotion. It was like half off or something like that for shots and for them to do like a quick exam or whatever. And I was in line for about, let's say, an hour, and I remember I had to hand the dog off to my mom. Thank God she was with me, and I had to go, we were in a pet store, and I had to go next door to this smoothie shop and get like ice cold water, because I felt like I was gonna pass out, because I was just sweating, I was hot. I couldn't go to the mall and like go around and shop and walk around, because if I were to go walk around and shop around, I would get tired easily, I would get hot, I would get worn out. Like, I remember I went to the mall with my friend one time, and we went to 2 stores, and I was just like, we gotta go. Like, I'm so tired, I can't walk anymore. And it was in an air-conditioned building, and I was still too tired. Like, the sensitivity to the heat was too much, and I live in Arizona, which is a desert, so you could imagine how horrible it was for me. Yeah, I couldn't go out to the club and dance with my friends because I would get hot and tired right away. I couldn't drink a lot, even though I wanted to, because it helped with my anxiety. The sensitivity to the heat was like what I can only imagine what women go through in early menopause or menopause. So this video is kind of getting a little bit long. So I kind of just, like I said, I don't do editing. I haven't learned all of that stuff yet, so it is going to be an 18-minute video, so I do apologize for that. But so I just wanted to go through the list of the symptoms I experienced over a year of a period. I went through these symptoms before I was diagnosed, so kind of imagine going through this on a daily basis for a year. It definitely took its toll on me, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate. Get out! I'm almost done! Sorry, that's my boyfriend. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can relate. And if you guys want to just kind of start a dialogue in the comments, and just, a lot of us, not just me, but talk amongst each other, talk with me about some of the experiences that you experienced and how long you went through your symptoms before your doctors were able to diagnose you. Kind of like maybe talk about the trials and tribulations you went through diagnosis, because like in my previous video I did mention it took a couple of tries before my doctor got to the bottom of it, and how she wanted to get me on antidepressants and send me to stomach doctors. And I understand for them, they have to rule things out, so I'm not totally bashing her. But So yeah, so just comment down below, like and subscribe. I'm always willing to discuss anything. I'm an open book. No question is dumb. No question is too much. So just let's start a conversation, and let's be supportive for one another, and let's, fight this disease together. So have a good night, everyone, and thank you so much for watching.